Hey, what is up, guys? I'm Nate with Back from the Vault. Today I wanted to hop on here and just talk about five movies that I think are underrated in the Vinegar Syndrome catalog. These are all mainline Vinegar Syndrome titles. They're not just, they're not partner labels or anything like that. And I think all five of these, I haven't heard a lot of people talk about. They're ones that I think are incredible. I loved all of these releases. One of these doesn't count as just one movie. Technically, it's a set. It has 3 movies in it, but we'll get into that. I'll just count it as one release. I mean, these are all really different releases from Vinegar Syndrome. Starting off with one of the best movies that I've seen from the Vinegar Syndrome catalog. I thought this was incredible. It was such a good movie. I think when it came out, it received poor reception, or people just didn't really seem to care that it was part of the VS line. But that is Biozombie. Almost dropped it. Biozombie. I really like this slipcover. It's one of the things that really reeled me in with this release. It was this awesome slipcover with the drain coming out of the back of the guy's skull, draining out some blood. Faucet, really. Yeah. And then on the back, we've got this here. So this movie is a Chinese zombie movie from the 90s, I believe. And it's about these 2 slackers. And they basically get trapped in a mall. They have a store where they sell bootleg DVDs. And they get trapped in there. And the zombie outbreak happens inside this mall. And they have to pretty much fight to survive. But most of the movie, they're goofing off. They're just doing random stuff. They don't even really realize that the zombie apocalypse has happened until like halfway through. This gives me strong Shaun of the Dead vibes. So think like Chinese Shaun of the Dead with this movie. It's very fun. It's got a lot of really silly moments. There's a scene where a zombie's trying to get a Coke out of the vending machine, because the zombies are still just doing what they normally would be doing anyways as people. Just they have a newfound taste for flesh. And so this zombie's trying to get like a Coke out of a vending machine, and this man, I think it's a man. I can't remember if it's a man or a woman. It's been a year since I've seen this. They like have to reach around them to try to vend the Coke so they'll stop getting angry, because they're like behind the vending machine and the zombie's knocking the vending machine into them. It's a very strange movie, but it's so fun. It's just off the rails. It's great. This next one, number 2 in my list, is a little controversial. And I say that because Vinegar Syndrome has been begging people to buy this movie. They've been really trying to get this out of there. And I don't think anybody will have this on their list of five favorites from Vinegar Syndrome. But I've got to go with Last Gasp. It's one underrated movie from Vinegar Syndrome. People hate this. I see people shit on this all the time. This movie is not bad. I didn't love it. It's not like a 5-star movie, but it's not bad. Robert Patrick is in this, and he basically gets cursed by this it's African god, I want to say. And it's causing him to go around and like kill people, and he wears like a loincloth the whole movie. And I just remember him holding a spear and jumping down onto people with wearing just a loincloth. It's fun to see Robert Patrick play this silly, crazy character. There's some weird erotic elements to it at times that I didn't really vibe with, but overall, it's not as bad as everyone says. Usually this movie's on sale for $10 at Vinegar Syndrome, so if it interests you at all, check it out. It's worth the $10, I think. It's not a bad movie. I think this is also the 90s. I can't remember. 95, yeah. So, Pray You Never Hear It. The Last Gasp. This was one of the first movies I bought from Vinegar Syndrome, so maybe that's it. Maybe I watched it then and I was like, I liked it more because it was one of the first ones I got. But I don't think so. I do remember enjoying this movie. It has a lot of weird what the fuck moments. But again, it's not, don't go into it expecting the greatest movie ever. It's just okay. But it's good. It's worth buying. But it's also not a 5 out of 5 or anything. Next up is the one that I mentioned. It is a box set. This is a release of theirs, so it's not just one movie. But I think this is pretty underrated. I think this may have sold out. Another thing, I can't guarantee that all of these will have slipcovers. I didn't look prior to doing this video, and I can't guarantee that they'll all have slipcovers. But this is the Made in Hong Kong Volume 1 box set. I hope they do more of these. These are Category 3 films. These are on the weaker side of Category 3. There's nothing here that's like super over the top. There's no like, child killings or anything crazy like that. As far as I know, I don't remember anything like that in these movies. But all three of these were really good. So in this set, we've got The Demon's Baby, Erotic Nightmare, and The Deadly Camp. Now, I can't say all three of these are great. I didn't have a whole lot of fun with The Deadly Camp. I did like Erotic Nightmare, surprisingly. I didn't think I would, but it's such an insane, batshit movie that I had a lot of fun with it. And The Demon's Baby is okay. It's pretty good, but I remember there being some issues I had with it. They all three star Anthony Wong, and he's at his like craziest. They're all three very fun. I had a lot of fun with these. They were enjoyable. One thing about Vinegar Syndrome that I've come to notice is not everything they put out is great, but most of the time you'll have fun watching it. Even if it's like a really schlocky bad movie, I still have fun watching it because I can laugh at some of the moments in it. So there's plenty of moments like that in this where it's just so crazy. These three movies where they're just so crazy that you get enjoyment regardless of if it's a great movie or not. I recommend this set. All five of these I recommend in their own way, even if they're not incredible films. If you want the best of the best, go watch a Criterion movie. Most of those are, incredible films. You just got to know what you're looking for with these boutique labels. So that's the three Hong Kong films in the set, and that's my third pick. Getting into the fourth pick, that is Dead Heat. Now I know this slipcover is not available anymore because my wife bought this for me for Christmas last year, and she paid a pretty penny for this. It's one that I kept looking at it and saying like, should I get it? Should I get it? No, I just kept I kept stopping myself before I got it while it was in stock. So it finally went out of stock, the slipcover did, and then I regretted not purchasing it. So I finally had picked it up. She found a good deal last year for Christmas, and I got it for Christmas. It says you can't keep a good cop dead. So Dead Heat is a buddy cop comedy action film. It's from, I want to say, the 80s. I can't remember. Great movie. Basically, these people they're bringing the dead back, and these two cops, one of the cops dies in a horrific accident, and they decide to bring him back the same way. So they bring him back, and he becomes, a zombie cop essentially. It's a really fun movie. It's a great watch. This one I highly recommend. This is actually a really good movie, and it was my first time watching it. I want to say, last year, Christmas time last year, and this 4K looks incredible. This movie in general looks great, but the 4K especially. Vinegar Syndrome knew what they were doing with this release, and this is a really good must-watch in my opinion. So that's number 4. Getting into number 5, rounding out this 5 obscure or underrated Vinegar Syndrome releases. This is Blood Games. Picked this up recently. I didn't ever hear anyone talk about this. I remember looking up stuff about it and not seeing much online about people talking about Blood Games or how good of a movie this is. So I picked it up on a blind buy because it was like $10, and I love this. This was incredible. This is essentially, I loved it, but there's some silly stuff. I'll get into that. But basically, there's a girl baseball team, and they travel to this small little hick town, and they're playing against these men who are just being silly and goofing off the whole baseball game. And these women are already pretty pissed off that they have to deal with these guys being dicks, and then they win the game, but that upsets the Hicks, and the Hicks get angry and decide to go and like take it out on the girls, and they sexually assault one of the women, and that results in the girls having to stand up and fight back against them. So they do something, they kill an important person, and that essentially starts this war between the girls and the rednecks. And so it's kind of like a I spit on your grave scenario where the girls have to get revenge and try to they're getting revenge for various things that are happening in the movie, but they're also trying to survive and escape. And there's a lot of really cool action sequences in this movie. There's a scene where I want to say a guy jumps off a bridge, or maybe he drove. I can't remember if he jumps off or he drives off. But I remember seeing this bridge scene, and I was like, wow, they did that in a movie like this? Because this movie, it looks low budget. I assume it's a low budget film, and they have some really interesting effects work and stunts in this movie. This movie is incredible. Another high recommend. I wanted to round out these top 5 with 2 that I really recommend, and that's Dead Heat and Blood Games. Blood Games is incredible. All the girls in this movie are excellent actresses, and it's so fun. This is just such a good movie. It's not fun because of what happens in the movie, but it's also fun to see the girls get their revenge. So, yeah, that's Blood Games. That would be number 5 on my list of underrated Vinegar Syndrome releases. So I guess that ends the video. Please like and subscribe and hit the bell below to be notified on all future videos, and I'll see you next time.